Look at you. I bet you, after you've made a cup of coffee, well, you take those grounds and you dispose of them sensibly. Maybe you put them in the food waste. Maybe you compost them. Either way, you see them as waste. Just throw them away. Little did you know that apparently they can be recycled. Apparently they can be brought back to life. Apparently you can use them again. Skeptical? Me too. This is the coffee cycler. This is a device built at some point, I guess in the 1980s, that claims to bring your coffee grounds back to life. Now, this was sent to me by a gentleman who had been doing some house cleaning and found this and thought, who would want this? And thought of me, which I'm very grateful for, so thank you very much. Now, before we open it up, I should say that this box is a thing of beauty. It is full of some quite fantastical claims. Re-roasts ground coffee to recover good coffee flavour. Recover it! You know what I mean? It was there all along, apparently, but we're just throwing it away. And so you can see someone's percolator here. They're dumping the ground coffee into this little pan. On the side of the box, we have some more tremendous claims. Plug it in and wait for fragrant coffee aroma to fill your kitchen. Uses the same energy as a 100-watt light bulb. This is just getting better and better. Blend recycled coffee equally with fresh coffee and enjoy a 30% savings on your favorite fresh-made coffee. We've got a general instructions and operating manual. That's probably very necessary. This is beautiful. And it's pretty simple. Step 1, read all the instructions. Always a good first step. So, place basket on base, put wet grounds in the basket, and spread evenly. A maximum of 1.5 cups is recommended. Plug it into a 120 volt wall outlet. Toast according to time listed in the table. We recommend the use of a 24-hour appliance timer. When they're toasted, unplug, let it cool. You can wash the basket, rinse, dry. You got a good time. It seems very simple. Put your ground coffee in, toast it up. So here it is. The coffee cycler. We've got a lid. We've got the sort of mesh. So we theoretically have a problem in the UK. We don't have 120 volt wall outlets. We have 240 volts most of the time. But broadly speaking, we've got European power, which is different in terms of voltage and hertz to US power. So we're going to need some assistance in this. Now this is a transformer, so I can use US appliances of a decent amperage in the UK. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to make some coffee and then put those grounds into the coffee cycler. It's going to take probably a couple of hours, and at the end of that, we'll have some recovered grounds. We'll have retoasted it. Let's start with the smell. This definitely smells. Doing this process makes your kitchen, studio, house, whatever, smell of something. Now, ground coffee, after you brew it, doesn't actually smell particularly good to me most of the time. And those kind of unpleasant coffee smells are amplified by heating it for a long period of time. It smelled very strongly, it just didn't smell very good. They definitely look a different colour and texture, which is a thing. So what I'll do, I've got 20 grams of fresh ground coffee here. I will add in 10 grams of my re-roasted recovered grounds. Give it a mix. Now, I did say it smelt while it was cycling the coffee, but now these smell of nothing. They smell of nothing at all. Any aromatics have been essentially burnt off, heated. They have gone volatile and they have left the building. Who knows what will happen now? Let's brew. I thought that would smell worse, but it might just be that there's no flavours left that are bad. I mean, less bloom, unsurprisingly. Gonna be honest with you, not feeling excited at this point. Really looking pretty weak. Not sure that those recycled grounds have much to give. So interesting in a way that was a 3-minute 30 brew time, which is about what you'd expect. Wish me luck. Here we go. That is a battle of good and evil happening in the cup of coffee. There is the good. There is 20 grams of fresh, delicious coffee that started its journey here. And then there's 10 grams of zombie coffee that has been resurrected and is evil and is winning. Is definitely winning. The good is present, but outnumbered by the bad. In some ways it's not as bad as I expected. It might sound confusing, but I thought this was going to be horrific. But again, you know, 2/3 of this brew is good coffee. Only 1/3 is the filth. Okay. I will say that there are less bad aromas because probably most of them were just burnt away. But there are still some unpleasant tastes. But it's just completely obscuring the good qualities of the good coffee in there. Just a mind-bending thing. I'm left with one curiosity though. Did this thing do anything to the grounds? Right? Like, did it make them in any way more soluble again? Did it give them any extractable stuff? Did the combination of heat and water and time break down coffee so that more could be extracted? I have a very unscientific test in mind. I've got about 10 grams left of this stuff. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to go and get 10 grams of freshly brewed coffee. Now, when you take 30 grams at the start, when you brew, say, a 30 to 500, ideally, you've got about 6 grams of that soluble material in the cup below. So you've got 24 grams of grounds left. However, each gram of ground coffee absorbs about 2 grams of water. So I will take 30 grams of wet grounds, go with me, hang on here, which is 10 grams of used grounds and 20 grams of water, and I will brew it again as an infusion, right? I'll brew with fresh hot water and then I'll strain it and then I'll measure the extraction of that, see what comes out of it, and I'll do the same thing here. Now obviously we'll need to factor the water in, so if I'm going to brew 10 grams of the recycled coffee to 100 grams of water, I'll have to brew 30 grams of wet grounds to 80 grams of fresh hot water. I know temperature will play a role, but just go with me. I'm just curious if this thing does anything except vaguely dehydrate the grounds. That's the question here. Was anything really changed? Let's find out. Okay, so we got 10 grams of recycled zombie coffee and we've got 30 grams of wet, freshly brewed grounds. We're going to add the appropriate amount of water to each one. 100 grams for you, 80 grams for you. Now, this is interesting. You can see here in the sort of wet grounds that obviously the water that was still clinging to those grounds had been doing some brewing, and so it's pulled out some flavour. However, in this bowl, very little is going on here. It's like a clear layer. There's almost no extraction happening. You know what has to happen now? Well, firstly, we're going to strain them, and then I am going to taste them. Unsurprisingly, the recycled coffee grounds drained out pretty quickly because they got nothing in them. They got nothing. Now our two extracts actually look way more similar than I expected. Let's see if there's any difference in TDS. 0.29 from our recycled coffee, 0.27. So I would say, for the sake of argument here, the same. The question becomes flavor. Oh, it's cardboard. It's cardboard. It's all bad cardboard. I mean, let's not mess around here. This is also bad. It's bad. Don't drink this. Don't do this and drink this. This doesn't taste good. It just tastes significantly less bad than that. This one tastes much better. It tastes of the coffee. It's got some characteristics. Because it's fresh, because it hasn't been cooked out. This tastes like forgotten coffee and stale potatoes. Before I wrap up completely, there's two things to talk about. Firstly, like every video right now that has a sponsor that has an ad in it, there's a giveaway. There's a competition link below. Click it, enter if you can't afford coffee right now. If you can afford coffee, please support local businesses. They need you now more than ever. But if you can't, enter below. I'll pick 10 people anywhere in the world that lets me ship coffee to them, and I'll ship them some coffee. And I do that because this video has a sponsor. And this video is sponsored by Squarespace. If you need to build a website or if you need a domain, then I would recommend checking out Squarespace. It could be a website for you, your portfolio, for your online presence, and you should make sure that is as beautiful as is possible. But it might also be for your cafe, for your restaurant, for a little e-commerce business that you've started up recently. Squarespace can do it all, and it's so easy and so intuitive. You start with one of their many beautiful templates, and very easily you customize it to make it look exactly as you want it to look. It's your images, it's your words, and using Squarespace means that they will look stunning across every device, across every browser. There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to patch, upgrade, install. It's all taken care of in this 24/7 email support. I'd recommend checking it out for yourself. Go to the link below and sign up for a free trial. At the end of 14 days, when you're ready to launch, use code James Hoffmann for 10% off any website or domain. Thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. So that's the coffee cycler. One of the most bizarre things I've seen in some time, and to be honest, terrible. There's a reason you can't buy this right now. This was interesting, but also bad. And for those of you who enjoy seeing me suffer, well, there you go. I hope you got what you came for. For now, I say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.